good man, what do you like to play?
Pokemon!
Pokemon? Pokemon was the Pokey of the man in the thing where the guy comes out into the thing and he likes to fall out of that.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 126th episode of the Pokemon Podcast. My name is SBJ, and with me today I have Will.
Good afternoon, everybody, and just checking the old Farmer's Almanac, and it is the perfect time of year for berry farming. So get out there.
That delightful laugh you heard was Travis.
I've caught Pokerus, everyone. I'm sick. I've caught Pokerus. I'm literally in my bed right now in pajamas, just staring up at my ceiling because I'm sick.
Oh, gosh. Remember that time when we recorded and we were both super sick, or was that just me?
It was just you, but it was the second time I was ever on the show, so I didn't know, like how to show yet.
You weren't blossomed yet.
No, not even close.
No. And our last guest is one of our Kickstarter backers. I think a week or so we had Kyle, but this week we have Kent.
What's up, everyone? Glad to be here, and hope I don't screw this up too badly.
Oh, well, I'll get you covered because I screw up a lot. Before we dive too deep into things, though, Kent, do you want to say a little about yourself, your favorite Pokemon, when you started, really anything?
Okay, sure. Well, I started playing Pokemon with Red and Blue in 1998, and actually my brother, my younger brother, was the first one to have a Pokemon game in our family. But of course, being the good older brother that I am, I promptly took away his blue version just to make sure that it was good enough for him to play. And eventually he got the red version. So, yeah. I am in the Air Force. Because of that, you've probably heard me mentioned a few times in previous episodes, Lieutenant Surge and whatnot. And yeah, that's pretty much it about me. Getting ready to move here in the next week or two. So that's always
into
exciting.
The Kanto region.
Yes. I wish.
Awesome. And you were at Midwest Gaming Classic not last year, but the year before.
Yes, I was. I went cosplayed as Lieutenant Surge that year. I wasn't able to make it this last year because I was in the middle of training, and I have another round of training coming up here starting in December, and that's supposed to last about 8 months, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it this year to Midwest Gaming Classic or not.
That's all right, though. You got your Battle City piece from the, not this Will, but the other Will.
Yes, I did. He did a Lieutenant Surge piece, and of course I had to pick that up. So that was actually really, really interesting to see, like, what he had done as far, like, all of the little inside jokes, I guess, like the TM-24 sitting on, like, the side of his bed.
Oh, I didn't even notice that when I saw it.
Oh, right.
Yeah. No, there's actually quite a few inside jokes as far as Lieutenant Surge goes, just kind of hidden in that that comic strip. So
It's cool.
Overall, before we dive into news, what was your thoughts on Battle City over?
I guess for me, I wasn't able to make it out to Battle City, but it was really cool to see like all of the work that the artists had put into creating their pieces, and then obviously the work that you, Steve, had done to like get all the coordinating in. I mean, I don't know how transparent it was to anybody that wasn't a backer, but there were a lot of emails in the weeks leading up to Battle City where you were running around trying to get stuff taken care of, and I definitely think that I even though I wasn't able to be there to see the whole finished product, I think that it was a success, and that's in large part to the hard work that you're willing to put in, Steve. So thank you for that.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Awesome. Well, I have nothing to say. It was flattering, Kent. But we can, for if you're a new listener to the show, this is a Pokemon podcast.
What?
Very best. Like no one ever was. And normally we do our introductions. That's what you just heard. And the show breaks down into news. We take a quick break. We have a middle segment of something. In this case, it will be some competitive Pokemon for X and Y, and some competitive berry farming. And then we'll take another quick break and end with another segment, and that'll be the show. So hopefully you guys enjoy. But without further ado, we can jump right into news. And the first bit of news I have here is some English Pokemon X and Y cards were revealed. I know besides myself, Will is a TCG player, as well as I believe Kent is.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. So we're just going to run down two of the new cards here, I think, because we talked about Mega Venusaur last week. And the first card I want to bring up is they showed Mega Blastoids. EX.
Yeah.
Which, as a 3 energy move for Hydro Bombard, Blastoise has 220 HP. Its move does 120 damage. It's a Mega Pokemon, so when you place it down, your turn ends. Do you guys have any thoughts on this?
Well, I like that its attack does damage to 2 benched Pokemon, which, Mr. Mime is going to cancel out anyways, but also you don't apply weakness or resistance. It was just standard for benched Pokemon, but still, it's actually doing 180 damage total if your opponent doesn't have Mr. Mime on the bench. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that it has such a high HP. I mean, I guess I didn't look at the Venusaur EX HP, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think the only other card that has any higher HP is a Wailord that's no longer legal. Is that right?
No, Wailord's at 200, and I think it is still legal. It was in...
I think it still is.
Yeah, but Mega Venusaur EX is 230, so that's currently the highest. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
They have yet to show Mega Charizard.
Yeah, I hope they don't even make one. Charizard's just the worst.
Half our listeners just turned the show.
But you know what's really cool? Which card you probably didn't want to talk about? Delphox.
Which one?
Which I don't even.
No, that's the other one I wanted to talk about.
Okay. Because Chestnut's once again they just pooped on the grass type. Greninja is decent, but Delphox is I think going to be a really, really cool card if Stage 2 cards do come back into play.
Yeah, do you want to explain Delphox?
Well, it has 2 things going for it. So one, it has an ability called Mystical Fire that says once during your turn before you attack, you can draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand. So this is basically doing the same thing that the supporter card Bianca used to do, except that you don't have to play a supporter card. You can do this anytime during your turn. So, you can use up your hand as much as you can, taking all your actions, and then, draw more cards. And then its actual attack...
It's just like Magnezone from Heart Gold, Soul Silver.
I don't know what that means. I only played from Black and White on.
Magnetic
Sure.
Draw.
But then, its attack is 3 colorless energy, which is the same as Keldeo EX, and it's almost the same thing. It's 50 base damage and then 20 more for each fire energy attached to Delphox. So, if you attach 3 fire energy to power up that attack, then it's 110 damage starting. And I imagine, Emboar does the same thing as Blastoise, right? It's similar to Deluge, or not? So you could play Emboar Delphox. You could play Emboar Delphox in the same way people play Blastoise Keldeo EX, except that since Delphox is a stage 2, that makes it a little less worthwhile.
Yeah, it's hard to run 2 stage 2s.
Yeah.
But those are the new cards.
And there's a whole other, they've got listings for a lot of new cards, like the new Aegislash does something that I haven't seen before, and the Evolutionary Soda card is pretty cool too. But you can save that for another week.
We can when we have another light news week like we did this time.
Okay.
Speaking of... I have zero transition for that. I'm just going to go right into Pokemon TV. And Pokemon Origins came out. Just the first episode, which is a little disappointing because when I watch it, I just want to watch it all the way through. I don't know if you guys have the same thoughts on that.
I don't, because I'm 40 years old, and when I was growing up, you got to watch TV. Your favorite TV show came on once a week, and if you didn't see it at that time, we actually had something called summer reruns, and potentially they might show that episode again during the summer. But if you didn't know how to work a VCR, or you didn't have a VCR and set it up to record that show, you missed it. You snooze, you lose. You're gone. So what? One at a time, on demand. I can watch as many times as I want. That seems like magic to me. If I could get the Pokemon TV app to load on my iPhone, which it doesn't do. It crashes every single time. Oh, no, it actually worked today. So I would be able to watch it today.
Maybe too many people were watching.
Possibly. And I'm a little upset that I can't watch it on my Kindle Fire. There's no Pokemon TV app for the Kindle Fire.
That is a little disappointing.
Email Amazon. Email Jeff Bezos.
I'll tweet him. I do live in 2013. I'll tweet at him.
There you go. Twitter is the ultimate answer.
That's right. I think we all saw the subtitled version in Japanese?
Mm-hmm.
I did, yeah.
I didn't.
I haven't watched obviously the new one because I'm waiting for all 4. But I did listen just a little bit to hear Ash to hear Red and Blues.
Whoa, yeah, you slipped up, dude. Hate mail incoming.
Whoa, settle down. I mean, we already lost all those people with the Charizard comment. So I think we're still safe.
Yeah,
but I went to listen to hear their voices.
Yeah, I think it is green. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
he's wearing green.
Yeah. Well, they called him. They called him green in the subtitled version. So I don't know if they changed it for the dub, or if they're just going to leave it.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get that far. I didn't like Professor Oak's voice.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people.
He doesn't even matter.
Professor Oak's voice.
That's all we got for that. So we will once all the episodes of Origins comes out, we'll have a full episode talking about from start to finish. And I had one Twitter user comment that It's actually Origins, not Organs.
Is it? I thought it was
Who
like
knew?
an anatomy lesson, and it was all about dissecting Pokemon. Isn't what the original Red and Blue were about? Cutting open your Pokemon and seeing what you could find inside. Gotta cut them all.
You find friendship inside.
Gotta cut them off.
Oh, wow. I'm actually surprised you only got one tweet about that. I would have thought you would have gotten more.
Me too. Maybe that's a good sign that people know the joke.
Yeah.
All right. Finally, our last bit of news is an interview with Game Freak on the origins of Pokemon X and Y. This was done by the official Nintendo magazine.
I thought that
UK
got
one,
canceled.
Well,
I
that
thought
is
Nintendo Power was gone.
Nintendo, it's a
yeah, but
different
that's not
thing.
the official Nintendo magazine.
Ugh, okay.
The unofficial official Nintendo magazine. So there's a couple questions. You can read it if you just Google Pokemon news, and it's one of the top articles. There's a couple I wanted to comment on and see what your guys' thoughts are. So the first question they asked was, along the same lines, how long does it take to design and pick the starter Pokemon? And they responded, it took about a year to finalize the designs of the starter Pokemon. In the beginning, we were under the restriction of fire, grass, and water, and we didn't know what creatures to inspire from. The idea was taking the inspiration from a fox, a frog, and a hedgehog didn't come until about a bit later. Confirmed, hedgehog.
Yeah, I love hedgehogs.
So that's interesting. The other one, I don't know if you guys have any thoughts before I move on to another question.
Well, I was going to say, since you're talking about the typing of the starters, I was a little disappointed in that the secondary typing of their final evolutions, it maintains the same weakness all the way around. I was hoping that they would reverse it.
That would be so weird.
So, Chestnut would have a strength against Delphox.
Mm-hmm.
But, no, it wouldn't be weird. It would be cool.
I think, didn't they do something like that with Gen 4? Or maybe it was just the two of the starters.
Empoleon's water steel, Infernape is firefighting, and then Torterra is grass ground. So yeah, I guess, yeah, you're right. Except Torterra has the advantage against both.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Either way.
All right,
that
next
was
question
my comment.
was, why did you decide to reintroduce Red and Blue's original starter Pokemon as secondary starters in X and Y? Answer was, the idea was to give Red and Blue starters to the players. Came quite a bit later into development. I knew that I wanted Red and Blue starters to have final Mega evolutions, so I had those designs created, and when I saw those designs, I thought they were cool looking, and I wanted to give the players a chance to get these Pokemon fairly easily. So there is your why they're in the game.
Because they would be cool.
And obviously Charizard is the best, because that's why he gets 2 Mega evolutions and everybody else only gets 1.
It is so weird to me that Charizard gets 2.
Yeah,
I just wanted to say that I think it's great that they've finally taken Charizard and made him Fire Dragon, like everybody says that he's supposed to be.
His true calling.
Now they just have to fix Gyarados.
Wait, isn't Mega Gyarados Dragon?
No, it's Dark Water, or Water Dark.
Water Dark. Yep.
That's why I was confused when my fairy
That's a little
killed it.
better.
Yeah, I could definitely see the
didn't know
Dark
he
type
changed
working
types.
for Gyarados.
He is dark, or as wrote. Another question, which I thought was super funny, which has zero relevance, but the official Nintendo magazine wants to know if Vanillish will have a Mega Evolution.
What? Wait, they say Vanillish, not Vanillux.
They say Vanillish.
These people are losers.
They
Get out of here, official Nintendo magazine. You can't have a Mega Evolution for a middle stage. Like, if you're gonna be, like, repping Vanillux, you better be repping Vanillux.
Do you know why they asked that? Because it's a British magazine, and to get Mega Vanillish, you would have to use Vanillishite, all one word. And to them, that's like a swear. Right?
What? Is it?
The last part would be, yes.
Yeah.
We've
I
blown
wasn't aware.
it. Just spell it out.
Masuda's answer was, I hope you find out for yourself whether Vanillish has one, or if he's even in the game.
If he's even in the game. I'm walking around with a Vanillite t-shirt on, and you're going to tell me he's not in the game? I got the Vanillite t-shirt. I love it.
Wait, you can actually get that?
Yeah, it's called the Twin shirt.
No way.
Yes! I'd trade it to you if I could trade clothes, but that's not available yet.
It's not available yet. You heard it here first.
Me and Tierno have the same shirt on.
I need to get that. I need that so badly.
All right. Next question was, as well as Mega Evolutions, you've added Fairy type. The first new type since Gold and Silver. What made this change, and how will it impact, and what impact will it have on the balance? We decided to add Fairy type. When we decided to add Fairy type, we were very careful about what we were doing. We discussed over it and the effects it would be. What we wanted to add a new type after watching events where players got together and played, and such as the Pokemon World Championships. We noticed that Dragon type and certain moves, such as Draco Meteor, had more of a presence and were more powerful than other moves, and that that consequence showed that the balance wasn't absolutely perfect. Travis, your thoughts on that?
And also, we're going to nerf Dark for no reason. He's like, who uses Dark types?
Travis doesn't care. I like
that
it.
Dark is nerf, or that people haven't flushed out yet?
Well, Dark is worse, because Dark is weak to Fairy. So, like, Dark is a worse type now. And it already wasn't that good.
Dark has always been weak to fighting, and in a real competitive team, you're going to have one fighting type move somewhere. Right?
Right. And I'm saying
so
the introduction of
worse.
Well, yeah, it does, because it's one more. Like, Fairy is going to be the most common type now because it's the best, and now Dark is weak to the most common type in the game.
You're right. Fairy's the best, and I'm glad to hear you say it.
I'm just really disappointed that now the two Pokemon that previously had no weaknesses, Spiritomb and Sableye, now have something that is super effective against them. Because like that was the big appeal, is that with those two you could only ever hit for neutral damage, and now I think that to begin with, Sableye wasn't really that competitively viable, but Prankster kind of gave it a little bit of a chance, and I think that now that you have the Fairy type that's going to be super effective against it, I think that that's probably going to scare people away from trying to use even a Prankster Sableye.
Yeah, I was very disappointed about that as well.
Not that I'm big in competitive, but what Fairy type Pokemon are being used?
Sylveon, Azumarill, very much so Azumarill, Togekiss a little bit. But the most common two are going to be Sylveon and Azumarill. Every team has an Azumarill.
Actually good, like.
Yeah, Sylveon is like one of the better, especially defensive Pokemon that people are using. Calm Mind usually.
I just think of like Vaporeon and Flareon and Leafeon never see play.
Vaporeon does, but Flareon and Leafeon definitely not.
There we go. He did have another paragraph here about the Fairy type. Having said that, I don't think we're going to see the results of our work until the games get into the players' hands and they start playing for a while. it'll be at this point we'll be able to see what kind of trends come up. So it'll be really exciting to see the World Championships next year in Washington, D.C. and see what kind of strategies we didn't even think of.
Party at Will's house. I do like that he... I mean, I do like the explanation of adding fairy type to as a recognition that, you know, those final teams, it was always like Cresselia, Metagross, whatever, Boring, Tyranitar, you know, it was always the same. So now it's going to force people to think, and it'll mix things up a little bit. I hope.
And it'll
Travis
be broken
doesn't
until they
agree.
fix it again.
Yeah.
That's right.
So now it'll all just be Azumarill, Talonflame, Aegislash. You know, whatever you do, there's going to be some Pokemon that are the most common. You know what I mean? Like, it'll be cool that it'll be different ones. Like, I won't have to see, like, Metagross on every team now that Steel is nerfed or whatever. But, like, we're going to see Aegislash on every team, and we're going to see a lot of Talonflame, too.
Yeah, I can't believe how good Talonflame is.
It's really good.
I have a really good
job.
I have a story about Talonflame that I can't tell because we're steering clear of spoilers. Whoops.
So
Yes.
just think about how good that
we'll have-
story would have been if Kent had told it, listeners. Just like,
Yeah.
just sit there and be like, "Oh man, this story was so funny."
That was a great story.
Yeah.
It was a great story.
It was good. It was good. It was so good that we're going to take a break.
Just to like regroup.
And we'll be right back.
That bright shining star.
And we are back from our break to talk about, I don't know what we're talking about, berry farming, competitive
Berry farming!
stuff like that.
Yay!
Oh, all right. Well, we'll start with the berry farming. I'll put it over to Will and
A
Travis
resident
and Ken.
expert
You guys-
farmer.
Well, I probably do the most berry farming out of anybody because I literally spend about an hour farming berries every single day. When I first wake up in the morning, I visit my berry patch, and you know, any berries that have grown, I pick. I make mulch. I plant new berries, and you know, make sure everything is weeded, and I take care of all the Pokemon that are invading my berry trees. But I don't think the last time that we talked about berry farming, which is still very exciting for me, was berry mutations, which since I didn't read the guide or anything, so it came as a surprise to me. If you plant two different berry trees next to each other, there's a possibility that you'll get a third type of berry on one of those trees. So then you can get more rare berries, and then you can plant those. And then if you plant those next to other berry trees, then you'll get even more mutations. So it's just like an unending supply of surprises. And
Supplies.
supplies, yes. And I thought, since I had been making tons and tons of mulch, that there were only two kinds of mulch. I only thought there was boost mulch and rich mulch, which I think what I've determined is boost mulch. It dries out quickly, but you get more berries as long as you're maintaining your berry patch. And then rich mulch will hold water, so you don't have to water the berries as often. But you don't get, the extra number of berries. Like, I had one berry tree give me 17 berries, which is just huge on boost mulch. But then I just came across this new mulch just yesterday that's called surprise mulch. And I don't know exactly what it does, but I did find out today that I had 5 new berry mutations. So it possibly causes your berry trees to be more agreeable to sprouting a mutation. Just all very exciting. Actually, I find it more exciting than the rest of the entire Pokemon game. I could literally just grow berries. Yeah, seriously, I get up in the morning, take care of my berry patch. When I get to work, the first thing I do is take care of my berry patch. On my lunch break, I go back in, make sure everything is watered, weeded, there's no Pokemon going on around. When I get home from work, take care of my berry patch. When I go right before I go to bed at night, take care of my berry patch. It is the greatest thing ever. But I don't know, maybe you guys have other opinions.
I'm quite into it yet, but it sounds awesome.
I have the Bulbapedia page open for the mulches because, unlike Will, I have no patience for farming, and I just decided I was going to look up exactly what all of these things are. Do you guys want me to go through that?
How many different mulches are there?
There are 4 different mulches.
So there's one I haven't discovered yet?
Yes.
Okay, you can say what Rich, Boost, and Surprise Mulch do, but you're not allowed to tell me what the last one does, because I want to find out on my own when I actually generate it.
Alright, that's fair enough. Okay, so the Boost Mulch, when it's applied, it causes the soil to dry out twice as quickly, but it triples your berry harvest.
Yeah.
And in order to get that, you have to use the composter using 2 berries of the same color, which I'm not sure if it's like actual color, because like Oran berry and Rost berry are both blue. I haven't tried that yet, but it says 2 berries of the same color and 1 differently colored one. The Rich Mulch, when it's applied, it doubles your berry harvest. And in order to get that, you have to use 3 different colored berries in the composter.
Yeah, that's the one I get the most.
Yeah, and then for the Surprise Mulch, when you apply that, it increases your chance of berry mutation.
Yeah!
Man, Will's like 2 for 3, I guess.
Yeah, we'll call it. And then to get the Surprise Mulch, you have to use 3 berries of the same color.
Okay. I came across that by accident, but I also put in 3 of the same berry, and that gave me Surprise Mulch. So that's one way to get it. So there's still a 4th one out there that I need to unlock that might probably have to do with berry shape. Is that a possibility?
I can't say.
Oh, I have to find. Now I have more scientific experiments to conduct to find the 4th mulch. But I'm glad there's only 4, because I think in Black and White 2, even though mulch did absolutely nothing in that entire game, there were like 18 different kinds of mulch.
There were actually only 4 in Black and White 2 as well. They're different mulches. But
yeah, I remember Gooey and Stable were the 2 that I recall. But anyways, they were useless. You just found them and then you sold them to a dude.
Yeah, I'm actually really disappointed with the.
Sorry. Why would you want to harvest berries?
For use.
You can get more berries.
You put them on your Pokemon.
Like, I get you.
Chopple berry is good on Tyranitar.
Yeah.
Citrus berry is good on Trevenant.
You only need 1, because when you're in competitive, it doesn't actually go away.
You can give it to friends.
Well, there's that, but also in the game, actual game, yeah, like if you battle in the game, they do go away. They don't come back. So I don't know if in the Battle Maison are they preserved or.
I think they are. Yes.
Okay. What about the Battle Chateau?
I'm pretty sure all those sorts of things they are preserved.
Well, maybe you just grow berries because it's fun to grow berries and realize you have 243 tomato berries. Nobody.
I was just asking because I wasn't sure if like berries are worth money.
You can sell berries, and you can take berries to that weird juice bar in Lumio City. And I heard a rumor that was it you, Travis, that said that like you can make a special juice that's like a 5 rare candy power blend.
I didn't know that. That sounds awesome, though.
It like levels you up by 5. It was either you or Jared who told me something like that.
Jared.
But
I think I've heard that rumor.
Well, there you go. So you can take them to the juice bar, dude. Berries are power.
I guess. Speaking of power, what Pokemon are powerful in Gen 6 that we can talk about?
There's a lot of them.
Here we go on a non-stop Travis Borathon.
All right.
Sign
Well,
me
first
up.
up, all the way, I have. Let's see. In preparation for this part, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Bulbapedia tabs open. So sit back, relax, put your seatbelts on. We're going for a ride here.
Here's Travis just prepared a treatise on the battle effects of Pokemon.
Paragraph 2, subpoint B. Greninja special. Yeah, so I'm gonna power through these. First up, I have Greninja, who's really good with a Focus Sash as like a lead. Most people use mostly special attack set with U-Turn, and they do like Hydro Pump, Dark Pulse, Ice Beam, U-Turn. With Protean, so its type changes before it uses the move, so it always gets Stab. I think it also can be used pretty viably physically with Water Shuriken, Night Slash, something in U-Turn, whatever you want. I really like it. I think it's a good counter to
Greninja.
Yeah.
Has an ability that gives Stab to everything.
Yeah. It's an ability.
Mm-hmm.
Which ability is that?
All right, fair enough.
Oh, is that why everybody was asking for the Protean Froakies?
Yeah, Protean changes your Pokemon's type when you use a move of that type. So even though he's Water Dark, if I were to use Hydro Pump, it would make him just Water. If I use U-Turn, it'll make him Bug before it uses the move. At the beginning of the turn...
How does he stay that type?
Yeah, he'll stay that type until you use another move that would change him.
Got it.
And where do you find a Protean Froakie?
Friend Safari. You would find a Protean Frogadier and you could breed it.
Man, I wish Travis had a good Friend Safari. So
okay, my Friend Safari is not that bad. Where else are you going to get a Moxie Heracross? Okay, Moxie Heracross is really good in this gen because you can go in, you can get like a revenge kill with it, it gets +1, and then you Mega Evolve and you get a +1 Mega Heracross.
I didn't even know there was a Mega Heracross.
It's got Skill Link. You can pin missile.
He's like Iron Man.
It's really slow. It's not that good.
It's really slow.
Moving on. The next on my list, the thing that pretty much makes Mega Heracross unusable is Talonflame. Again, usable because of its hidden ability, which is Gale Wings, which gives you priority if you're using a flying type move. So it's got priority Brave Bird or Acrobatics, whichever floats your boat. And then people also use usually Flare Blitz, Swords Dance, and U-Turn, or Taunt sometimes. Or Roost sometimes as well.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Talonflame as a versatile Pokemon because, you know, even in the basic form with Steel Wing and whatever normal fire type move it gets and whatever the other... What's the flying type move that it just learns by leveling up? Maybe it is Acrobatics. It's just enough. It'll get you through all the situations.
It learns both Acrobatics and Brave Bird by level up.
Yeah, I've got a level 96 Talonflame going now, so...
Yeah, it's one of the best new Pokemon because of it. I mean, its attack isn't like a skyscraper or anything, but like, I don't know why I use that as a metaphor, because I'm looking at the Bulbapedia bar graph, and it's not tall, I guess is where I was going. It's fast, it's at 126, and because it can get priority, like, it's one of the better revenge killers in the game. Obviously, you need to worry about Stealth Rocks, though, with it being fire flying, but there's a little... But hazards are used a little less in this generation, anyway. So far, at least. I also really like Gourgeist. I know people prefer Trevenant usually because of Harvest and Citrus Berry, but Gourgeist, man. Super size. Leech Seed. Shadow Sneak.
So there are 4 listeners.
Yeah.
I know something.
Okay.
There are 4 different Gorgeises.
Right.
Can you explain them?
Yeah. Okay. So they're based on size. So there's small size, average size, large size, and super size. Super size me. As they get smaller,
Right up my alley.
as they get smaller, the attack and HP go down, but the speed increases. I think the most viable is the super size, with the speed being the highest at 99 at the small size. Because that's not like super fast, I think the best one you can use is the super size, because its defense is already 122, which is super high, and you combine that with highest HP it can get, which is 85, and it's really good defensively. Has some trouble with Talonflame or like any special hit, but really good against like switching into like an Azumarill's Aqua Jet. It doesn't take Play Rough very well, but it takes an Earthquake super well, and can shut down Aegislash very well.
Is there one that's high HP but super slow?
Yeah, that's super size.
So I could use that on my Trick Room team.
Yeah, it's got a decent attack at 100.
Okay.
It is good. I didn't even think about using that for Trick Room, but you really could. And it's got a decent move pool too, because you could use anything from like Shadow Sneak to like, I don't know, whatever grass move you want.
Grass Knot.
Which brings me to Aegislash, however you want to say it. Most people are thinking that, like in competitive play, that it'll be shot up to Ubers pretty soon, because it's really, really good. But I would be very surprised if Pokemon banned it for the VGC. So I think we're going to see a lot of these in doubles in VGC. So it has 2 forms. Its shield form is the defensive one with HP of only 60, but defense and special attack of 150. And then the blade form, it swaps those for its offensive stats. So its defenses become 50s, and its attack and special attack become 150. It's really good at being what, the term people use is a pivot. So you can switch into it on pretty much anything because of how high those defenses are, and then you can switch into Aegislash on pretty much any hit, and then either set up a Swords Dance or use Shadow Sneak to finish something off. The way you switch between the forms is if you're using the offensive move, or like a move that'll deal damage, it'll switch to Blade form. If you use a defensive move like Protect or its signature move, King's Shield, it'll switch into Shield form. If you use something like Swords Dance, it'll just stay whatever form it is. King's Shield is the same thing as Protect, except it doesn't protect from status moves. Like, you'd still use like a Leech Seed against it. But if it uses an attacking move that makes contact, like most physical moves, or some special moves, it will sharply lower the opponent's physical attack. So it's really hard to predict around. You can really do some cool mind games with it.
Yeah, I love King's Shield. I actually evolved my Double 8 into an Aegislash just so that I could take it into the Elite Four. And King's Shield, literally, I think King's Shield probably makes this the really competitive as far as like going up against physical sweepers, because if you can predict it right and it hits you with a contact move, you've pretty much nerfed any threat from that physical sweeper until they either faint or switch out.
Yeah, and a lot of people are running it mixed, so like have Shadow Sneak and like Shadow Ball or whatever, so, or maybe like Sacred Sword and Shadow Ball, so that you have pretty much the capability to take on whatever they switch into, because both of its offensive stats are so good.
I would assume that Angel Slasher is weak or gets one hit by a flamethrower or a fire blast pretty easily.
If it's in the blade form, yeah, but you can easily switch back into the shield form by just using King Shield. So yeah, it can be one KO'd by like an earthquake or a flamethrower, but it's just a matter of like your opponent needs to know when to do that, and they don't want to use something like a Fire Fang or like a Flare Blitz on it because they're like, oh well, maybe they'll use King Shield and then my attack will lower. The next one we already talked about is Azumarill, but just really good because it gets Fairy Stab, which is the best typing in the game right now, and people use it with Belly Drum, which is really devastating if they can pull it off. But having priority with Aqua Jet and a really strong move and Play Rough. And you need the ability, huge power, pretty much, to make it worthwhile. So that'll double its attack stat. And then Goodra people use as well. It's got really good special defense and special attack stats. It's good sort of as like a tanking Pokemon. It's really good with the new item Assault Vest, which increases your special defense by 1.5. But you can only use attacking moves, and that's good on Goodra because it doesn't really have that good of a defensive move pool. Like it doesn't get, it gets toxic, but it doesn't get like, Leech Seed or Recover or things like that. So it essentially makes it really good at tanking hits and throwing them back. And like it's almost ridiculous how well it takes some moves. Like I was testing it in Pokemon Showdown, and it took a Shadow Ball from a Mega Gengar, and it was like I lost 8% or something crazy like that. So it's massively bulky.
Where do you get the Assault Vest from?
I think you can buy it at the Battle Mason using the BP things.
Okay, all right.
And then I have just 2 more Pokemon.
Can't wait till Gen 7 where you see the Pokemon wearing the set items.
Yeah,
they've got like a focus band like tied around their head.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And then the last 2 are sort of ones that I've found are older Pokemon that I've found have gotten a lot better. The first of which I haven't really seen anyone else use. Excuse me, but Exploud is a lot better now. First of all, like at first glance, you'll notice that it's, if you look at Bulbapedia or whatever, that its stats get a tiny increase. It goes from having a special defense of 63 to 73, which doesn't really matter too much. But what does matter is that it gets the new move Boom Burst, which is a 140 power special attacking normal move with 100% accuracy and no drawback. And so if you run like full EVs and HP and special attack, if it can take a hit, which it usually can because of that HP investment, you can pretty much 1-hit KO anything and 2-hit KO anything that resists it. If you have the hidden ability, which is Scrappy, you can even hit ghosts too. So Exploud is really cool. People don't really know what to expect of it. I ran it with a choice, with choice specs, so it was really powerful. And I also did Overheat. I think I did Ice Beam, and then I can't remember what the 4th move was, but it doesn't really matter because Overheat and Boom Burst pretty much covers most things.
I actually saw Team Rocket used Exploud in adventures in Unova and Beyond just yesterday.
Wow. Then word's spreading that Exploud is better now, I guess.
Yep.
And then the last one I wanted to talk about was Scolipede. You can get its hidden ability now, which I think you might have been able to before. Whatever. Its hidden ability is Speed Boost, which listeners are probably aware of. At the end of every turn, its speed is increased by 1, and also it got a stat increase. Its attack goes up to 100 now. And because Poison is a lot better, because now it can cover fairies, its stabs are sort of a lot more useful. So like Mega Horn, Poison Jab, Earthquake, Protect is a good set for Scolipede. And those are the Pokemon I wanted to talk about, and now I'm going to eat my lunch.
How did I miss Scolipede had Speed Boost? Because I thought it was... Oh, I know what it was. You can get Scolipede in the Dream World, in the forest, and it's pre-evolutions. Venipede and Whirlipede,
Right.
their hidden abilities are Quick Feet. So for some reason, I thought that Scolipede had Quick Feet instead of Speed Boost. So, but yeah, that makes it a lot more interesting to me now.
There we go. The rundown of Pokemon by Travis.
You should get like the iPhone alarm clock sound to go off now to wake up everybody who has fallen asleep during that treatise on the battle effectiveness of Generation 6.
Yeah, because it's not like anyone's listening to this show to hear about Pokemon. Like, there's no one who's listening to the show that wants to hear about Pokemon.
They want to hear about Pokemon. They don't want you talk
about. When is Steve going to talk about the PS4?
Yes!
That's what I was waiting for.
PS4 versus Xbox, right?
Exactly. We're just gonna start a flame war on here. I do nothing but burn bridges. Actually, I do want to talk about a new console, but we will talk about that right after the break.
All right, because I gotta eat my lunch.
And we are back once again from our delightful break. We are going to wrap up the segment talking about the Pokemon soundtrack that debuted in iTunes. But first, we're going to talk about a new piece of hardware. The 2DS.
That's not new.
It's not new, but we haven't talked about it.
That's true.
And I really wanted to talk about it because I've actually handled one. Have you guys at all touched it or used it?
Handled the 2DS.
Yeah, I haven't touched it.
I have not had the opportunity to check out the 2DS, but because I have both X and Y, I am going to look into getting a 2DS so that I can start playing Y and trading between the two. So,
I've never even seen a 2DS.
Okay, so the 2DS is actually a really legit piece of hardware. It has way, way better L and R buttons for shoulder. Like, they're curved, they're thick, like you can hear the click down. They're not spongy like the 3DS or the 3DS XL buttons. The D-pad and the A, B, X, Y buttons, they're the same size and everything, but they just feel more tactile. Like, again, not spongy. So for everyone who hates the 2DS, you're wrong. I'm just going to say it. You're wrong, and the 2DS is amazing.
No, the 2DS definitely has a place. We got my nephew, I think a DSi, or no, the DSXL, just the regular DSXL, for his birthday back in April. If the 2DS had been out, we would have gotten him that, because he, wants to play games. He's 6 years old, but he's going to be playing games for a long time, and he can't play the 3DS realistically for a number of years. And I think the 2DS is probably more, I don't know what the word for it. Like, you can throw it against a wall. It's not going to fall apart as easily as a 3DS will. Durable. Yeah. So it's intended for the younger kids. And it's just like, for my analogy here, it's just like Apple releasing the 5C. The reason to release the 5C wasn't solely to have a less expensive iPhone available for consumers, but it was to have a less expensive version available that would drive out the old iPhones that had the 30-pin connector, so that they didn't have to do support for that any longer. So the 2DS, the intent is to drive out all the old DS units so that they don't have to provide games and support for those games any longer, in my opinion.
No, you're not wrong. If the 2DS came in a bigger size, I prefer the form factor and holding it and the shoulder buttons. Like, I can't get over how good the shoulder buttons are.
Are the screens on the 2DS the same as the XL or as the regular 3DS?
Regular.
Okay.
So it's a bit small, but...
So that eventually they will come out with a 2DS XL.
Probably.
Yes, they will. It's Nintendo. They will.
Maybe it'll even fold.
Yeah.
No. No.
So before we jump into the soundtrack, Kent,
Yes.
the listeners would love to know your favorite Pokemon from Gen 6 and your least favorite Pokemon from Gen 6, and why.
Oh boy. Okay. And I knew you were going to do this, and so I have the list up, and I think it's hard for me to pick a favorite, but I can give you three that are pretty close competition. I'll give you the least favorite. I'll give you the least favorite first because that one was pretty easy. I am going to say Flabebe, and that whole evolutionary line is my least favorite because I know they need new Pokemon for the Fairy type, but I am not a fan of the design. The flower is bigger than the Pokemon is, and that for some reason that really bugs me. I have no idea why, but
So I guess there are things you could have said that were worse than Esper. And you have earned my immortal hatred and enmity, and I shall find you with my fairy legions and destroy you.
I will be waiting. With the first on my list of favorites, which is Aegislash, and my steel type will take down all of your fairies. Aegislash is definitely in the running because it looks really freaking cool. And then obviously the steel ghost type is pretty interesting too. So I just think that it's one of the more interesting Pokemon in this generation. My second one is Greninja, and this, it goes all the way back to Red and Blue. Every single Pokemon game that I've owned, I've started off with the water starter. So Greninja is kind of the continuation of that, but I'm really interested. It's really cool, like how they decided to go with the frog and then turn it into like a sort of ninja-ish, and then adding the dark type to it.
Ninja.
Who said that?
It just
That voice belongs to no one in this call.
That was Steve.
And then the third one on the list is Goodra, because it's
Goodra!
It's just a really cool dragon, and dragon is, aside from water, dragon is probably my favorite type in the entire game. So it's really, really cool to see that they're not completely ignoring the dragons, and they're still giving us, something, a 3-stage dragon Pokemon in Gen 6. Plus, it's a ridiculously awesome tank.
And an adorable tank.
That's right.
None of this Tyranitar ugly BS. Sweet. Cool. Well, let's. Did any of you download the Pokemon soundtrack?
No.
I have not.
No, but I've heard how the game sounds.
Yeah, I can hear the Pokemon soundtrack all the time by playing Pokemon. Why would I pay for it? Is this the first soundtrack that's been available as a digital download?
Well, unless there's like the anime soundtracks.
No,
Yeah, you could
that's
probably
not quite the
get
same.
you could probably get To Be a Master on iTunes if you really want to.
Oh God, you can. You
Pokemon
absolutely
Christmas
can.
Bash.
But it's the first Pokemon game soundtrack that's been available as a digital download.
I don't know.
Yes, and in the official press release, which you can read on PokemonPodcast.com, they do plan on releasing all the soundtracks for the old games in iTunes within the next year.
Awesome.
All
That's
right.
nice. That is nice.
I'm definitely
Very
going to
cool.
be picking up the Gen 1 and probably Gen 4.
Now I won't have to listen to Pokemon podcasts anymore to hear excerpts of like Lavender Town or whatever.
Lavender Town. Do, 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 do. That how it goes. I can't. I have zero musical talent.
It
Similar
sounded
to
like
that,
the
yes.
Jeopardy theme.
Oh, yeah, that's like Lavender Town, right? So for our listeners who haven't looked at the soundtrack, it is only available in iTunes. It didn't come out on CD or Amazon, whatever. It is 212 songs.
I'm going to stop you right here, Steve. Just buy the entire freaking soundtrack, because if you pick and choose, I will guarantee you
Yes.
the amount of songs that you buy is going to go over the $9.99 that it costs for the entire 212 tracks.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand why people are buying individual songs.
I have no idea. Like, just buy the entire album.
Like Battle Mewtwo, which is track 202. It's a 3-minute track, so I understand, but it is one of the most downloaded songs. And I just don't understand.
What if I only want to hear the music that
Just
plays
down
when you're
there.
walking between Campfire Town and Parfum Palace? I mean, then I only want to spend 99 cents.
Well, all right. If that is the only one song that you want, then yeah, go ahead and spend the 99 cents. But like, it only takes 10 songs before you have spent more than the entire album is worth.
Will, is that the song that's like...
I feel like if you're...
Is it that one?
I have no idea. I was just thinking of like the most inane location in the game where nothing goes on. Except, I mean, that's where you get your hone edge, I guess. But still.
It's true.
Don't understand. Like, if you're buying Pokemon songs, even one song, you're way more nerdier than people who don't care about the music. You're in like this in between of like, I'm willing to spend $1, but ooh, $8.99 more? I don't think so. That's all I got. But it does include the music to Pokemon Origins.
Oh, hey. It does.
It does. The last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Last 10 songs are.
What's the name of the album?
Pokemon X and Pokemon Y.
Alright, so it's not available on Spotify.
It's called...
I think they made some.
an
I think they
aeroplane
made
over
some
the
agreement
sea.
with iTunes.
Alright. Oh well.
I don't know. I'm not Game Freak. Spoiler alert, I don't work for Game Freak.
Oh no.
Burn. Yeah, I think that's all we have. For those of you who were following my mini-series, the final episode, because I did complete the game, will be up sometime this week. And for those of you that are dying for Gold Ducks and Master Balls, the bad news is the Master Ball does not transfer down through the daycare. So we're switching it to Premier Balls. I think everyone was pretty much okay with that. And we plan on giving these out Thanksgiving week. So stay tuned for that. Gold Duck City. Otherwise, thank you all for being on.
Thank you, Steve.
Will, where can they find you?
Oh, do they have to find me? Actually, you know what? I still have 41 slots open to friend people on my 3DS, and I will accept anyone as a friend just to get your friend Safari business. So hit me up on Twitter, Washington the Sink, WASHINTHESINK, and just give me your 3DS friend code, and I will give you mine back, and then I will get all the Pokemons from your friend Safari, and then I will love you forever.
Perfect.
That's it.
Travis, where can they find you?
Twitter.com/TheTravisW. And then I have like very limited amount of space left in my friends list. But if you want to add me, it's 0774-4618-3531.
Okay, so now you've confused everybody, and you will have no friends for your terrible, terrible friend Safari.
If they can figure it out, then I think that's like the gauntlet that they have to traverse in order to like earn my 3DS friendship.
Travis, the only person who wants to be your friend on 3DS is Kid Stark because he loves Heracross. And he just wants that Heracross action. He wants to be able to go to a land where like 1 out of every 3 Pokemon is a Heracross. And that's your friend Safari.
Mm-hmm.
Shot down. Kent, thank you for being on.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
Where can our listeners find your beautiful voice?
They can find me on Twitter at KentJohnson26. They can also find me on Instagram under the same name. I occasionally post pictures sometimes. And yeah, I guess that's really about it. If you want to be on my 3DS friends list, you can hit me up on Twitter, and I have probably the most space out of anybody on the podcast today. I have 57 spots open, so hit me up.
Going fast like hotcakes.
Yep.
That actually reminds me, I have 0 space on my 3DS friends list. So I feel really bad when people are like, add me, because I don't know who to delete, and I don't even play Pokemon. It's
Runs
a
a
dilemma.
Pokemon podcast and doesn't play Pokemon.
It's a dilemma. So I have to figure out who doesn't sign on anymore so I can delete them, and then I can add more people. So I'm not ignoring you. I'm in the Twilight Zone right now. I don't know what that
Consider,
means.
if you will, a world where people play Pokemon. There's a Greninja on the wing of a plane.
But you can follow me on Twitter at Dragging a Lake, and you can follow the podcast on Twitter. It's at Pokemon Podcast, and you can like us on Facebook, facebook.com/PKMNcast. There are 3 ways to listen to our show. Stitcher Radio, it's super effective. iTunes, it's super effective. And on PokemonPodcast.com, there's an audio player right on the site if you want to listen to that on the web. So obviously you're listening to this, so you figured out one of those 3 ways. But if you haven't done so already, please rate and review us both in iTunes and on Stitcher Radio. And that's all I got. So thank you all for being on.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Steve.
And fair enough.
Thank you, Steve.
That's what I wanted. This has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast, and we are
Super
effective.
Did it. You saved the dinosaurs.
You survived, Travis.